Hey guys, what's up? It's Noelle with Baker's Backyard Bounty. Today we're going to be planting our spring and kind of early summer garden, and it feels very exciting. We're going to do it as a family. Yeah! So pray for us.
I'll let you move on to that.
Some of these got ridiculous. Like this is a scarlet runner bean.
Oh,
like
yeah. That one was
it grew like around the grow light. So it is time. I was going to wait to grow my okra, but watching that Haas Tools video, they said you can actually germinate okra because it needs a lot of warmth in order to come up. And so to get a head start, just go ahead and germinate it indoors where you can keep it warmer, and then plant it outside and you'll have an earlier harvest. So we'll see how this goes. We have 4 varieties of okra here, and is that 100% germination? Yeah, 100% germination. So from here to here, that's pretty groovy. And then just look at these buttes, y'all. Can you see like how rich this green is and how vibrant these peppers are? Like, I am so pleased with our grow light system that we're using. It's been a game changer this season. It looks so good. I'm really happy. We were really questioning if this was gonna happen or not. Here, let me get out of the sun. But the ranunculus bulbs that I planted in October are starting to bulb. So hopefully they're gonna be flowering in the near future. I don't know if this is gonna focus right. Eep. Let's see. It ain't happening, but yeah, there's a ranunculus bulb. And all these little outcroppings of ranunculus, they're all getting some of those sprouts in those bulbs. So hopeful. And this is hollyhock, and it's actually big. I'm just waiting for it to flower. We have hollyhock kind of dispersed all throughout here. I put some dahlia tubers in here in the dry areas. Yes, thank you. Have some zinnias and some sunflowers gonna come up. So it's gonna be a really beautiful bed eventually. Look at those little crazy munchkins over there. You're so sweet to that baby. So this is where, whoa, all of the garden plants go. And notice how many things are scratched through, and there's arrows. Like, y'all, it's always a work in progress. It's a family affair. But probably mostly me. Okay.
How many am I putting in?
So over here we have our tomato bed, and what I've done is created this trellis system with bamboo and T-post and some, well, Reed created it, and some plumbing tees. And I went ahead and took these, they're just basic like stakes to hold down like garden netting. I took those, tied some garden twine to it, and then created these lines for the tomatoes to grow up. And they're actually pretty sturdy, so they go all the way up and just stick down in the ground. So easy as that. Lily has loved rearranging these for us, which, you know, just so grateful for. So she gets in there a lot and pulls them out. So we're gonna have to figure out how to work with that. Over here we have our strawberries in the ground, and Lily's actually picked a couple and eaten them, which is really sweet. Like, that's really what I want for our garden, is for it to not feel like off limits or like have to be perfect where she doesn't get to interact with it. And I also want things to grow, so that's the current balance that we're trying to strike. But you can see these are some Tristan strawberries. They have these really pretty pink flowers. And then down here I have some Eversweets, and these are the ones that have been producing the best. She picked off a couple here. Speak of the devil. The potatoes are finally starting to come through. They're starting to sprout. I've been not giving them any water because I didn't want them to rot further. So some of the sprouts are starting to come up, which makes me just feel so happy because I'd kind of given up hope These should be ready. I think we counted it out by like end of April, maybe more like I think June, end of May or June, if I have that right. But yeah, you can see these little sprouts. So yeah, I also planted some that I had left in the pantry in the bag that came in, the brown bag. I just left some of the extra seed tomato pieces in the bag, and they all sprouted. So I went ahead and stuck those in some pots because I want to see what works better, like if there's a huge difference in growing them in a raised bed versus the pots, because obviously the pots would be nice so I don't have to like allocate so much space in a raised bed because it's kind of precious property back here, especially, yeah. Yes. Especially this time of year when we're trying to grow all the things. Good old 40 train. It's so loud. It usually comes through at like, 3, 4 in the morning. Anyways, over here today we got, well, Reed really, I just helped plan it out because I was on kid duty, but we got things in the ground and I'm really excited. We have here our beans. So these first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows are going to be trellis. We have beans, we have squashes, we have our scarlet runner bean here that's really tall. We have some sugar snap peas, cucumbers. So all of that is going to be trellised. I think we're going to do a similar style with the trellis to make you jealous that we did with the tomatoes, but do a different kind of pattern with the string to give more support for like things like pole beans. This yummy, beautiful red lettuce, baby lettuce, is going to be coming out tonight for salad for dinner. Down here we have Brussels sprouts growing. You can see here. Now I have 2 more, they just haven't taken off yet, so we'll see if I get them before it gets too hot. Some peppers went in today. Well, actually all of our peppers. And on either side it's flanked by spinach that's actually starting to do really well. We've been harvesting off of this baby spinach, and I'll be harvesting this tonight again to add to the salad. The onions are becoming more and more established. They're growing really well, as is our garlic along the back. These big bulbs, elephant garlic. And then down here at the end will be our sweet potatoes, probably, beginning of May, end of April, I'll put those in. And then okra, which those are already germinated. I'm just waiting for them to get a little bigger and go ahead and pop those in. So we're gonna have lots of okra this year. Even though it's not Christmas time, I still have my little reindeer with the mohawk. Say hi, Toto. Even though it's not Christmas time, I still have my little reindeer with the mohawk. Say hi, Toto. We had a 2-year-old birthday extravaganza, and my house shows it. It was a lot of fun. So something I have been really noticing about myself is my incredibly large capacity for impatience. I am so impatient, and with all things, I just do things quickly, and I always have. Even when I was in art school working with clay, I would just take the clay and throw it around and make these forms, and I just couldn't wait for them to be done. Sometimes I'd do raw clay pieces because I just didn't want to wait for the whole process of putting it in the kiln and baking it and then glazing it and then putting it back in the kiln, and then maybe it blows up. So I just impatient. I've always been this way. And when it comes to gardening, I mean, I couldn't expect anything different, but I noticed when I come out here, this tension, now that spring is here and things are growing, I'm they're not growing fast enough, or I have this anxiety that things aren't gonna grow, this horrible fear that I put all this time, all this effort, all this money into really trying to garden and grow our food, and nothing's gonna grow, which is a little bit
irrational, because out of all the things I've planted, there's bound to be one plant that grows some food for us. And Reed's really good about reminding me of that. But it just brings up like kind of my conditioning, like being an American, being an Enneagram 3, like just this sense of trying to get a product and not being willing to wait for the process, like not trusting that, you know, it's okay, like I will still be here in 2 years when, you know, my garden has really established, and like it doesn't all have to be today. And I think that's the biggest thing right now that the garden's teaching me, is like pull the reins on the racehorse. Like it's okay to go at this pace, like it's okay. So I don't know if anyone else relates to impatient gardening, but every time that I've tried to rush through something out here, it ends up either not growing well, it ends up dying. So I want to do everything right, and that takes time. And that kind of applies to most things that are worth waiting for in life. It takes time and requires some sacrifice. Being a parent, having a good marriage, like all of that. So, all right, that's all I got. I'm gonna harvest this lettuce and get back inside to finish up dinner and hopefully get my girls down for bed at a reasonable hour. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. This is just kind of a quick update. I'm excited for all that is in store. May you find the bounty in your own life and all the beauty that it holds, and we'll see you soon.